Thanks, Philip. Joe Chats on Tap Sportsnet. Appreciate the time as always. Curious, you've been able to hit the ground running. In terms of your time in Chicago, you've been able to contribute from early on in the season to this point in the season. Being someone who's had to move around a lot of it in a lot of your career, how has that helped you be so efficient early on in your time in Chicago?
It's a good question, but I think that, like you said, moving around and learning to be able to perform straight away and adapting quickly has obviously helped me. It's not always the best to move around a lot, but in my case, I've learned a lot, and I've been learning to adapt quickly to new systems, and I think it's been easy for me to adapt to Gregg's system, so that's probably the answer.
And on that note, Tim Ottiman at Red 97. The Fire just signed a new player, Andre Franco. He has spent his career so far in Portugal, but you just came into the league and you adapted really well. So when when he comes in, what would be your message to him to help him hit the ground running?
I mean, I did have a little bit of a preseason, so that probably is not exactly the same as for him. But luckily, we only have one game a week, so we have more training time. And that will probably help him adapt and get used to the team. I mean, I would just say, I don't know how well English he speaks, but obviously coming to a team and a country where English is the main language, it's always easier because there's no language barrier. So hopefully if he can speak English, he should adapt quickly. But I don't know. I mean, just enjoy yourself, I guess.
Alex Calabrese, MLSsoccer.com. Philip, I think you've exceeded many people's expectations, especially in terms of goals and assists. Is there any aspect of the way the team plays that specifically helped you adapt so quickly on the field?
You mean Gregg? Yeah. I mean, obviously, MLS is a very offensive league, and it's usually a league that has a lot of chances and there's a lot of goals, which obviously is good for offensive players. I think that a lot of the game we have is built around finding the wingers and the tens and going from there, which is something that benefits me. And then he's usually defending in a way that we can still attack, and the main purpose with defending is for us to win the ball and attack, whereas I've been to other clubs where defending has been the main target, and you can get really low, and then it's difficult to score goals. But I mean, just the offensive mind that he has in his 4-3-3 system fits me well, and I'm just enjoying it.
We will take some calls from Zoom. We'll start with Jim Alexander.
Hey, Zink. Kind of following up a little bit on that question. Before coming into MLS, you probably had some maybe expectations or ideas of it. Now that you almost had a full season, did it sort of live up to the imagination that you had for it? Is there anything that surprised you about the league? I'm just kind of curious here, as you're sort of coming towards the end of the first season, what are your sort of impressions now than you had before coming into the MLS?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, the league is very offensive, and that was one of the things I heard about before coming to MLS. And I mean, for an offensive player, that's just fun. And surprised. I mean, I've been surprised about the level of stadiums, overall the teams. Like this seems like there's just good organization and around every team, and like it's just very smooth when you go to games, and even though it's a big country and you travel a lot, it's been really positive, and that probably has surprised me the most in a positive way. And just the level of it's a competitive league, and especially in our conference, I think it's higher level than I expected, I think.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Kirill Anastasov.
Hi, Philip. Thank you for the time, Carol Anastas with Chicago Sports Nation. Going into this weekend's game, you're playing a team that you just touched upon the fact that you perceive your conference to be very strong this year. You're facing a team that's near the bottom of the Western Conference, which you maybe might not be as high of a level as at least this particular season. And then after that, it's back-to-back away games against two of the best teams in the league in Philadelphia and Inter Miami. In the dressing room, is there a sense, especially as the playoff chase heats up and with those two very difficult games coming up, that this one is an absolute must-win?
We haven't really focused much about Miami and Philadelphia yet, so I guess, like you said, it's this game is really important, and that's where all the focus is right now. Even though they are in the bottom of the other conference, MLS is still very competitive, and you see almost every week that everyone can beat everyone, and the way they play, they leave a lot of attackers in the. Well, they don't defend with all their players, which means that they are dangerous on counters, and they have some good offensive players. So we definitely have to take it serious. And even though it maybe looks like a must-win, I think it will be a tough game. But if we can perform on a similar level that we did against LA, I think we have a good chance to win.
Philip, in the previous meetings between Chicago and St. Louis, they've been very intense matches. I think a lot of the fans, for historical reasons, view it as a primary rival. I know more than 50% of the team is new this year, but is that something you guys have spoken about or thought about at all, that it's an important game to the fans?
Obviously a bit, yeah, but not that much. I mean, it's a game like any other game, even though it's always fun to play rivalries for the atmosphere and for the just the meaning, for the fans. But we haven't focused a lot about the meaning of the game, but more the how can we perform and how can we be the best version of ourselves. And yeah, there's definitely some opportunity for us there in this game. And yeah, rivalry is always fun, but actually we haven't spoken much about it, to be fair.
Teresa Limon with Chicago Fire in Spanish. I have a question for you. What personal goals have you set yourself for the final stretch of the season?
What do you mean, like what do you mean for what?
On the game, I mean, currently you've had you've been connecting a lot more than, I mean, throughout the season, more connection with the forwards and the lines, and congratulations on that. We, in Spanish, we've been having a lot of fans speak about you're on fire, the kind of thing. You've been standing out, you've been an all-star. So what personal goals, how do you push yourself towards the end of the season? What do you expect from yourself even more? Obviously, as a player, we know that every day is obviously an ambition toward a goal. What do you have in mind?
That's a good question. I mean, the main target is obviously to get into the playoffs, and I think the good part about that being is that we have everything in our hands. If we win our games, we'll be there. And yeah, I want to contribute with more goals than assists, but in the end of the day, it's more important that we make it into the playoffs. And I don't really set like a number for myself because I don't want to reach it and then feel satisfied. So I'm always trying to push it. And I mean, I'm just trying to get as many as possible. But main target is definitely the playoffs right now.
Philip, I wanted to ask you about two Fire 2 wingers who have been training with the first team throughout the season, Vitaly Hloit and Claudio Cassano. What have you seen from those guys as they're trying to get to the point in their career, obviously looking up to you as someone who's able to do it in MLS and in Europe?
Both very talented players, and I think they both have a good career in front of them. It's tough, because of the way the squads are built up in MLS with the numbers of players you can have around and the whole roster thing, which doesn't always make sense and is not fair for young players, I guess. But they definitely have a lot of quality, and if they keep working and keep performing with the second team, they will they'll have a good future in the cup.
This is the second game in a row at SeatGeek Stadium, second league game of the season out of 3. After the last match, Ryan Hollingshead from LAFC was complaining about the pitch quality. He said it played super thick, really heavy. It felt like each step it had an extra 20 pounds on your feet. Is that something that you noticed playing at SeatGeek last week, and is that a concern for the match this Saturday?
I did, but obviously I cramped in the last 10 minutes or 5 minutes. But I think the pitch was decent. It was a bit long, which made it a bit thick and heavy, but in overall it was pretty good. I think it's better right now than Soldier Field. So Soldier Field is probably a bit tough, like more hard and firm, but I mean it's more bumpy for sure. So if we played that, I probably would have just complained about that. So I mean, it is what it is.
All right, we'll go last question. Oh, we were going to take a question from Zoom, but I see that Omar has left. Oh, Omar, you're up.
Yeah, well, my last question was exactly what I just asked about field conditions. Philippe, thank you for your time. Gracias. This is Omar from the Spanish podcast. Thank you for being available today. I just want to ask you, just kind of follow up on the question that was asked about the field conditions. This was your debut this past Saturday, versus LAFC. What was your experience like? What was the environment like? Obviously, you're going back there on Saturday night. How did you feel the vibe from the fans? I mean, you already talked about the conditions, but what was it like to be there again? And do you think that it plays any part in supporting you guys to get the 3 points?
Good question. I think the environment and the atmosphere around the game was really good. I think playing in SeatGeek is more compact and we fill up the stadium, which is something that we like. It creates a very good atmosphere around the game, and obviously the pitch weren't perfect, but it wasn't that bad either. So hopefully we can sell out this week too. And I know a lot of fans also came to see Song last game, which were exciting, but we've also talked about it now. It's a rivalry, so they'll probably bring some fans in their way end. And yeah, I don't mind playing at SeatGeek. I think it's a good stadium. It's obviously not in the best location for the fans. They had to travel all the way out there, but it really means a lot for us. So yeah, I just hope they come and support us, because it's actually a decent stadium when it's full.